AI isn't just for numbers, journal entries, financial analysis, key KPIs, and all the things we've been talking about so far. But it is also helpful when it comes to developing training materials and job aids. So in this module, we'll talk about creating quick reference guides, developing onboarding documentation, building good and effective checklists, and designing how-to guides for common tasks. So for those times that you aren't around to answer all these questions or your staff isn't around, you'll have some guides that people can refer to still get work done and continue to be productive. So why training materials really matter? It's the knowledge problem. You have experienced staff retiring and taking knowledge with them. So succession planning is a big issue in any industry right now. And your new hires need some time to get up to speed. I mean, when they come in cold like that, they need training, they need guidance and things like that. They're like your intern, and they need to be monitored and guided as they go through their day-to-day activities. So training materials can help alleviate some of that one-on-one that you need to do to develop effective staff. Procedures live in people's heads, not on paper. I've been here for 25 years. This is how we do it, XYZ. Let me write that down. You have to write that down. People evolve as their processes evolve, and people just don't always write things down. It's a common issue, not a good or bad thing. It's just the way things are, and AI can help you with that. And then Ask Russ isn't a sustainable training plan. Russ isn't always here, but Russ's policies and procedures that he has written down, training aids and things like that, that can always be there. So AI can help you document institutional knowledge quickly and create resources that make training consistent and efficient. That's what you're looking for, consistency on how things are applied. We talked about policies and procedures in the last segment. This is a little quicker approach, shorter approach to some of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So one of the things you look at and develop are quick reference guides. So for example, create a one-page quick reference guide for changing compensation in the payroll system. And it includes the purpose, when to use this process, step-by-step instructions, common mistakes to avoid, who to contact for help, and so on. So when you talk to your AI tool and you give them this prompt, you'll get some good output. And you may have to go through several iterations to get your point to where you would like it to be, but you will have a quick reference guide for something like this. And you can post it, well, here we say at workstations, probably don't want to do that, but you'll have policies and procedures, documents, binders, something on your intranet, your internal website and things like that. Things that can be referred to easily and also changed easily as well. And as you see, one page maximum is the documents we're talking about here. Then it comes to onboarding. Well, for every new employee, you would like your approach to be consistent. You would like to have a consistent schedule and a consistent training format and the things that they are going to cover. So everybody that comes on board has the same approach. So for example, day one, you get the employee into your system, you give them access, key contacts, where to find things. The first week, we're going to look at core processes, basic tasks, your team structure, and then over the full month that they're there, you'll give them more responsibilities and independent work and resources, but you would like a guide that they can follow and that you can follow as well. So a good prompt would be create a 30-day onboarding checklist for a new senior accountant in our accounting department. And then you see the rest of the prompt there as well. So it lays it all out in any detail. It doesn't have the guesswork that may come with the inconsistent approach that can happen, because I will onboard a new staff one way and Joe over here will onboard a new staff a different way. And what we would like would be consistency in how they approach things and in how they do things. And then AI is also good for effective checklists. So best practices in checklists are to include action-oriented items logical sequences of how we do things, space for signing off and dating it so that you know what the latest version of the checklist is, clear ownership for each item, and references to detailed procedures if needed. It's kind of like a mini policy and procedures document, but it's a checklist that leads you from point A to point Z to make sure we are all following the same procedures as we go. So for example, you could have a prompt to your AI tool that says create a checklist for month-end close or new vendor setup or bank reconciliation, and include all of these items. So it's not a full-blown policy and procedure, although it can be, but that checklist will allow people to go through and check things off and make sure that they do things in the proper order so that you get the proper outcome that you're looking for. And then some common tasks, topics that you would want to document there would be navigation through your system. If you have an ERP system, or if you don't have an ERP system, your financial package, ways to navigate to get from point A to point B to get reports that you're looking for, things like that. Processes and common tasks like recurring journal entries. What journal entries do we do every month? Make a checklist for that. Reporting generation. So you'd have a checklist for that. Setting up vendors, account reconciliations, things like that. They sound really mundane and straightforward, but those are tools that you can have to really create some good efficiencies in your office. So the prompt you see there, let's use this for a journal entry. Create a step-by-step guide for using regulatory accounting for storm damage. Now that sounds kind of specific, but it's also pretty general, because the process really is you identify the storm damage, you quantify it, you know you have to go to your board for approval and things like that. So you're talking here about the information that you need, the numbered steps that you have with the specific details, and the outcome that you are looking for, and the sign-offs that make sure that you did it correctly, so that when your auditors come to look at your books and your processes, you have this in place and you've not missed any particular items. And then AI is also helpful for converting expert knowledge, so the brain dump. So consider a very seasoned employee your expert in a particular area. So your controller, it's been there for 30 years. Time for them to retire and enjoy life more than they're already enjoying life. But say how they do things in various areas. So record their explanations, then use AI to organize it. So it's like an interview. I mean, your AI tools, not only do you type the instructions in, you can also have a conversation with your AI tool. So you can interview your seasoned expert and document what they have said, and then you can clean it up, because it'll be clean up, because some of it may be stream of consciousness, you know how it goes. But in any case, you can detail that, and it can be a good roadmap for those who come next and the next aspiring controllers that you may have in your office. And of course, with anything, you want to have a quality check for the training materials. So a rule of thumb is, can a new person follow the steps without help? So that's really the acid test right there. You want to make sure the documents are accurate, system names and menu paths if you're using that for reporting and getting through your system. The contact names and roles are current and correct. The screenshots are current, no assumed knowledge that should be explained. But really, if you set a new person down, or a person that has not done this particular procedure before, and say, go to it and do it, and show me the areas that don't necessarily fit, you take that and you go back to the AI tool and you define the missing items and clean it up a bit, and make sure that somebody that is unfamiliar with the process can follow your guide. So again, these are nice day-to-day activities for AI that we can apply and make for a more efficient office, and make sure that You don't always need someone there to hold someone else's hand to get things done, but you have some of these quick reference guides and tools that you can use to make things run smoother and more efficient. So here we cover quick reference guides, onboarding documentations, good checklists, how-to guides, and the brain dump of the expert knowledge and turning their career experience into documentation that others can use as well. So you've found your way through this entire second course on using AI tools, and in the next module we'll wrap things up, talk about next steps, and I appreciate your kind attention. We'll see you in a minute.